So let's talk about researching a candidate, and maybe I'll turn it over to you to talk a little bit more about that because Ballotpedia has an elections calendar, and so why don't we turn it over to you to cover that section on researching a candidate, which is what Ballotpedia is about.
Yeah, great. So I think now more than ever, there are so many resources available to voters, and it can be a little bit difficult and overwhelming to distinguish like a credible news source versus fake news or something that might not be entirely accurate. And I think that it's super important to establish at least one source that you trust, and that's what Ballotpedia tries to be. That's our whole goal, is that our goal is to be a comprehensive encyclopedia of American politics, providing unbiased information to the public so that you can make your own informed decisions when voting. So by researching candidates on Ballotpedia, you're able to learn not only about candidates' policy positions, but also their personal biography, campaign finance, their staff, pretty much anything you could dream of, you can find on our page about candidates. So it's really important to research all of the candidates on the ballot, even if you think you know who you want to vote for. It's really important to do research on all of the candidates. I think that oftentimes today it's really easy to scroll through social media or to listen to friends and family members' opinions on candidates and on different elections. But by doing your own research from a credible organization like Ballotpedia, like Ballot Ready, you're able to form your own opinions and head to the polls really confident and an informed voter. So some of the resources that we at Ballotpedia provide, our biggest and I think most unique resource that we provide to voters is called our Candidate Connection Questionnaire. So this is a super unique opportunity for candidates to inform voters about their positions, and an equally unique opportunity for voters to learn directly from the candidates on their ballot. It's an expansive survey that we rolled out in 2017 to just a small number of elections and candidates running. And due to the success of that pilot program, we expanded the questionnaire to be available to everyone within our scope in 2018. So just to give you a little idea of how many candidates are filling out this questionnaire on our website, so far this year, 4,959 candidates have completed our survey. And it's probably going to be even more by the time you're listening to this podcast. We get responses every single day that we're putting up on our website. And so, this is a really, like I said, a really great opportunity for you to hear directly from the candidate. And then we do have, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, along the same lines, we partner with NCIV to offer candidate conversations, which is it's a virtual debate platform. So it's moderated by journalist Greta Van Susteren, and it's basically a short Q&A session, little videos that are uploaded onto the candidate pages if they choose to participate, that allow them to answer questions in a video format and just allow voters to hear from their candidates in an entirely new way.
Oh, what is that called?
Candidate Conversations.
Candidate Conversations. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, so we rolled this out about a year ago.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's relatively new.
Yeah, it gets, and what was I going to say? Yeah, so tell us how many candidates are there across all levels of election, because there's a presidential election, but there's also some state election, and then there's some ballot initiatives which will go, but there's also judges, and I think in Ballotpedia, is there there's a staggering number of candidates that you have in Ballotpedia, right?
Yeah. In the United States, there are 507,000 officials. And Ballotpedia doesn't cover every single one of them, but of course it's our goal to be able to one day. But at the moment, we cover the 100 largest cities in the United States, which covers 60 million people who live within those cities. So not only do we cover all federal and all state elections and elected officials, but we cover, the hundreds of thousands of local elected officials within those top 100 cities. So within our encyclopedia at this point, there are over 300,000 articles on our encyclopedia.
So chances are people will find their ballot on your website. So
Yeah.
well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So there's a section here in the Active Voter Guide that's developing an assessment scorecard. So I've decided this is kind of my personal favorite in our family. We are really big proponent of decision matrix, where you have some specific criterias and you score people on those criterias. And we included here in this scorecard a candidate scorecard that was developed by Clark County in Washington. So it's totally a group of citizens that developed this scorecard, and so it's a sample here, but maybe you could use it yourself for your own candidates. And they suggest to explore the stance of candidates in 3 areas. One is their beliefs, right? What's their beliefs in the role of government in our lives, in our communities, taxes, private property rights, and special interest collusion, which might be corporations, unions, just other groups, different special interest groups. What's their their relationship, and also their participation in those. The other section is the governability relative to their life experience. What's their life experience that they would bring to the table to help our government govern more efficiently and fairly and represent us effectively. They also have a section, a criteria on relevant issue knowledge, political savviness, leadership, team building skills. And then there's a section on electability, their campaign abilities, their reputation, their financial strength, speaking ability, name recognition. So those are kind of 3 areas. And if you go to this candidate scorecard, it's very detailed. You could hover over each of the headlines to understand their criteria and maybe make up your own scorecard. But if you are really undecided, this might be a good way to decide, to research and decide how to plan your vote. So,
yeah,
so I thought
this was a great tool.